Good morning, Helena Alliance Church family. Thank you for the opportunity to come into your home and share with you some of the details of what life is like in the Helena Alliance Church, some of our challenges. We know this is a difficult time for everyone. It's impacting everyone in some way. Maybe you're not used to being home with your children or your spouse all day long. Maybe you've had a loss of income. Maybe there have been special events canceled. Whatever it is, I hope that you're finding ways to not only survive, but to thrive during this period of time. And of course, we stand ready to help you in whatever way that we can. If you have a need, we're trying to check in with many regularly, but call us. We would want to be able to pray with you or come and support you in some way. It's a new world for all of us. Usually on Sundays when I get up to preach, I just have the content of what God has put upon my heart to share, and I think of little else. Now it's a performance, unfortunately. Do I look at the camera? Should I look at the room around the room and pretend like there's a group of people I'm speaking to? Do I have any irritating mannerisms I need to correct? All those things go through our minds when we're supposed to be thinking about what we're preaching. The other night during our worship practice, the battery was about to die. So we had Vince crawling on the floor trying to plug in another power source. And unfortunately, most of that was captured on the tape, which required a substantial amount of editing. I do want to thank John Howard and Vince for the many, many hours they put in to making sure we have a credible presentation for you on Sunday mornings. Sometimes they have worked well into the night on Saturday to make it happen. This morning, I want to share with you some of the things that have been taking place and a couple of them on the governing board level that you should know about. In January and February, our offerings had been quite low, but you rallied behind our need in March, and our giving was actually $5,000 over our expenses. So the things that I have to say to you about money aren't out of a sense of desperation at all. In April, we also have had a good start to our finances, and we're very thankful to the Lord for this. So it brings up the question of what are we going to do about the offer of the government assistance that is offered to churches and nonprofits and other businesses. Well, one of the conditions of receiving the money is that it is necessary for us to have the money in order to continue our operations. And at this point, we didn't feel like we could honestly say that, and so we're not going to apply. And even more importantly for me is I believe we need to give God opportunity to provide for our needs. We talk a lot about the power of God. We say that he'll provide for us, and yet to immediately assume that he won't and take the government assistance just seemed to me like a little premature, and I wanted to see us trust the Lord and give him opportunity to provide for us. So we're going to be doing that, and we'll reevaluate that as time goes on. The other thing that we did on a board level was the board reluctantly accepted my request to go on half salary. I'm the chief administrative officer in our church, and quite frankly, there's not a lot to administrate right now. And so and the other thing is that I also have the ability to earn a substantial income from the spring cleanups that I do in my lawn mowing business. And so putting those two together, I feel like we're well taken care of, and it frees me to do these other things. But we'll be evaluating that again in our May meeting, just letting you know what's taking place there. One of the long-term effects of the coronavirus is that we're going to continue to pay attention to our online church. There are many people who either cannot come to our services or choose not to for whatever reason that would pay attention, check in with us, watch, listen, and we could be impacting through an online church service. We're going to be continuing that even after we return to some degree of normalcy. For those of you who are supporting us online financially, we want to clean up some of our technology and make that easier so you don't have to hunt around to find the place that you can give to us. One question that comes up to me quite frequently is, are we going to have the yard sale? And actually, it's a bigger question. Are we canceling items, events as they come up, or are we postponing them? And by and large, our intent will be to postpone. Yes, we will have that yard sale. We don't know if it'll be the end of May, but we will certainly plan it into our schedule. And we'll try to do that with most things, whether it's Vacation Bible School or the church camp out and many things in that list. Now, I want to close today by presenting to you a radical idea. You know, the early church was funded by the radical giving of its people. We read in Acts that Barnabas sold a piece of property and brought the money from that and gave it to the apostles to redistribute to those who were in need. Many of us are going to be receiving stimulus checks from the federal government in the next days and weeks. And if you have been greatly affected financially by the events of the coronavirus, I am so glad that our government is making an effort to ease some of that blow, and you need the money, and I'm glad you're receiving it. But many of us are not in that situation. The coronavirus hasn't really affected us financially to a large degree. And so I want to suggest to those of you who are in that category, if your income has not been affected by the coronavirus, then give your stimulus check to someone or some charitable organization that has been affected by it. And rather than just thinking of ways that we can set it aside or spend it, have more, pay some delinquent bills, let's think of ways also that we could give. Now, I want to repeat, if you're in a time of financial crisis or even it has been difficult for you in any way, we are glad that you're receiving this check. There's no shame at all for you to take it and pay bills with it. But for those of us who aren't, let's promote a radical thought. Instead of just having more to use for ourselves, if we haven't been affected by the virus financially, then let's give it to an individual or a Christian organization who has been. I'm thinking of our Bible camps, our international missions program. You have a long list of non-profits that you support. Consider giving it to them. This would be pretty radical, would it not? So more than just to save or spend or pay bills, let's think of ways that we can give. Well, I'm glad that I've had this opportunity to share a few thoughts with you. God bless you as you navigate this hopefully unique period in our lifetime. And let's do so in a way that brings glory to Christ. Let's trust Him to build His kingdom through it, and that somehow He will use even this tragedy in human lives for the good and the glory of Christ in our generation. Blessings on you and your family. Thank you.